All right, so today we're going to learn how to calculate molar mass. So you have a notes page. It looks something like this. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start by folding it in half where the periodic table is on the inside. This will go in our notebook, and we will put our notebooks together tomorrow in class, so Tuesday in class. For now, because you'll probably turn this in so you don't lose it, go ahead and put your name and circle your class period. So today is about calculating molar mass. It's relatively straightforward. So molar mass is simply the mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams. So remember that for the masses on our periodic tables, these are written as atomic mass units, not in grams. When we report molar masses, it's going to be the same number, but it's going to be in grams. And so the unit is grams per mole. And it is important that you know the unit for molar mass. So to calculate your molar mass, you simply find the elements on the periodic table. I abbreviate periodic table PT. After you find them, you're going to add up the masses of those elements and you're done. The only part you need to remember is that, because in compounds, remember you can have more than one atom of an element. You need to take into account how many of each element you have. So this goes back to when you were counting how many atoms are in a compound back when we were balancing equations. So here's an example of aluminum hydroxide. So 5 of your questions on your assignment that you have today, you're completing like this with a chart. Okay. So in the chart, you're going to list your element, how many of the atoms you have, what the mass of the element is, what the total mass is, and then the molar mass of that compound. So our element, and you list it in order from left to right. So we have aluminum, oxygen, and hydrogen. For the aluminum, there's only 1. For the oxygen, there's 3, because that 3 on the outside goes for the inside. And for the hydrogen, there's also 3. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to find the mass of the element. So you'll go to your periodic table here. It is important that you use this periodic table. So aluminum is right here, 26.982. So you're going to use all of the numbers. Do not leave any of them out. Do not round them. So 26.982. Then we have oxygen, which is right here, 15.999. So it's 15.999. And then hydrogen is right here, 1.008. So, oops. Got 1.008. Now we need to find out the total mass of the element in that compound. So the way you do that is these two get multiplied by one another. So you multiply your masses together, and that's going to equal the total mass of your element. So 1 times anything is going to be the same number. So 26.982. Then using your calculator, so when you put in 3 times 15.999, you are going to get 47.997. Then we have our hydrogen, so 3 times 1.008. You type that into a calculator, you should get 3.024. So that's the total mass of our element. To get the molar mass of our compound, we add up the masses of our elements. So we're going to add these up. Okay, so you take this one plus 47.997 plus 3.024, and you get 78.003. Now, I have been telling you, you need to make sure that you have units with your numbers. Right now, we're not concerned about it because it says mass, so we know it's in grams. That says mass, we know it's in grams. This says molar mass, therefore we know it's grams per mole. So right now, we're not concerned about putting units. As a matter of fact, do not put units on your assignment you have today. But that's all there is to calculating molar mass. So list your elements. How many atoms of each element do you have? Multiply that by their masses from the periodic table. Add those up. Get your molar mass. So some reminders before you start. You must use R star periodic table. So you must use this periodic table here. You must use every number on the periodic table. So for instance, hydrogen has a mass of 1.008. Do not round it. You have to use the whole entire thing. When you get your answer, you have to report all of the numbers from the calculator. So when I added these up, this is what the calculator told me. Therefore, that's my answer. Do not round. Also, do not Google your answers. Chances are, if you Google your answers, 9 times out of 10, you are going to have an incorrect answer because they are not using the same periodic table that we are. There's many different periodic tables out there. And if they use a different one, they all have different numbers of sig figs on them. They all round differently. So do not Google your answers. All right, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be incorrect. Not always, but 9 times out of 10, it will be. And I'm using very specific numbers. There is no leeway. So you either have the right number or you don't. You either follow directions or you didn't. But that is how you calculate molar mass of a compound.